Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Orphan Black episode 502, titled Clutch of Greed, which premiered Saturday, June 17, 2017 on ABC America as well as on Space. I'm recording on the 18th, so it's just the next day. But before we begin, huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen right now. Take a moment to read over those. Otherwise, let's start the 10-minute clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I'm pretty sure it's the next day, although Rachel makes the claim that Sarah has been asleep for some time. Don't know what she considers as some time. It could be a few hours since she was captured at the boat shed, or it could be a few days since her capture at the end of 501. So I'm thinking maybe it's been a few hours, at most maybe a day or two, but it I guess you could say it picks up from where 501 left off. So there's that. Storyline wise, though, I picked up on 3 different storylines. I guess you can kind of say that it's based on location. So the first one deals with Sarah. Sarah dealing with Rachel and her new Neolution deal. The second is pretty much Allison's house arrest, which is connected to Donnie and Helena still being MIA. And then the third being Cosima stuck at revival camp. So first storyline pretty much deals with Sarah having to take a deal with Neolution so that she can return home. We actually see their house from season 1. I don't think it's been a while since we've seen it, I think, or at least it feels like that. But anyways, we get Mrs. S and Felix playing along, but when it's just the 3 of them again, they're trying to find a secret escape plan since they're constantly on being watched by Neolution. However, their plans to escape is all derailed by Kira when she very adamantly declares that she wants to go with Rachel and figure out what is happening to her in regards to the connection she has with all the clones and stuff like that. Second one, pertaining to Allison's house arrest. We only really see Allison at the very beginning when she kind of gives Sarah a little heads up, but she's kind of stuck at home because Art's new partner Maddie is insisting that Allison knows where Donnie and Helena are, where she doesn't. So meanwhile, Helena is in a hospital waking up after surgery from the twig being taken out of her belly. And apparently there's an issue with one twin due to the stick being impaled in her stomach, but then hours later it seems that the injury is not even seen, which causes some wanted tests, though Helena does escape before that even happens. Donnie soon follows afterwards, but he is aware where she's going, but only Sarah is supposed to know where that is. Third one is Cosima at the revival camp. I'm going to call them, they're either going to be Neolutionists or they're going to be called Revivalists. I don't know, but apparently the Revivalists take certain pills every day, which Cosima tries to make sure Charlotte and her don't take. It might have to do with the fact that they've been living or the camp is meant to be living so long or have extended lifespan, so there's that. Also, we see Cosima actually meeting the founder, P.T. Westmoreland, and he gives her positive test results from her new trial treatment for the cure she just took, and he wants her to continue with her science. Now, the last scene of the episode shows Delphine meeting Mrs. S in secret back at the house. So that was a surprise there. But pertaining to characters, new characters even, we actually see P.T. Westmoreland in the flesh this time. He felt familiar once again until I checked his credits, and apparently he played Caleb's dad in the movie The Covenant back in 2006. So even though he was heavy in the makeup and everything, I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, he talks about how he managed to or in a way, how he managed to extend his lifespan, and he claims it to his own genetics as well as to the Neolution science behind it. So there's that. Also, we get a name to the man who took Felix in the previous episode when he was at the safe house, and it is Mr. Frontenac, and he works for Rachel. So there's that. He seems to have taken Ferdinand's spot from the looks of it. He's a bit more posh and prim and proper in a sense from the little instances we've had of him. And then we also meet Mr. Mitchell, which is Kira's new homeroom teacher. So there's that, since she was enrolled back in school. Now, tidbit-wise, though, we found out that Revival has been established since 1908, or at least I learned that in the whole previously on part. Apparently I missed that in the 501. But anyways, we also see the return of MK, only to learn that she has been sick to the point that she's coughing and stuff, like Cosima, and then she sacrifices herself to give Sarah time to escape. So her sacrifice led to Ferdinand actually killing MK, which Kira feels her loss within the connection she has with the clones, and Ferdinand really does not go gentle with her death. Like, it's surprising how he went about it. But anyways, just before she died, MK told Sarah that she figured that Rachel wants to restart the human cloning again, and also that she has tried and failed to track down P.T. Westmoreland for many years. There just hasn't been no way to track him or to even find him. There are no records and stuff like that. And she was like, she kind of freaks out about it. She's like, she needs more data, or there must be more data and type like that. So there's that. We also get Ira returning to the island to be by Susan's side. Apparently she is recovering. So she did survive Rachel's attack, but now he seems to be against Rachel because she's the one that harmed his Susan, as he called it. So he seems to be on Team Felix from the looks of it, which is Team Sarah. And then also we see this episode marking Ferdinand being put on the outs with Rachel. He's been escorted out of Dyad. He's no longer needed, as it were. So there's that. Now moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode. Two things, actually. First one has to be MK's death. Kind of confirms the fact that whenever a character comes back, you always have to worry whether or not that character is going to be staying for long. In this sense, no. But I can understand why, where she was coming from being tired from running all this time. But then her being sick, I thought maybe Cosima might be able to cure her, but apparently not. But she went out on her own terms, I guess you can say. That really sounds bad though, but she was strong to the very end. She pretended to be Rachel, she was pretending to be Sarah, who was pretending to be Rachel, while giving Sarah more time. She was willing to face Ferdinand head on instead of hiding from him, knowing how mad he's going to be that she stole money from him. And I wish she survived. I wish she could have seen all this through. But the way she died was what was shocking for me too as well. Another thing that shocked me was Delphine returning to see Mrs. S. When Mrs. S checked the door and she was like cursing the fact that she couldn't believe who was knocking on her door so late. I thought it was Helena. I really did. But then to see it was Delphine, it's like, whoa, why is she back? Or is she meant to be back? And it's like, I don't know, it threw me. But then she claims that she doesn't want anyone knowing that they're in contact. So it's like, oh no, what is she keeping a secret now? So that was another thing too. Moving on though to top 3 favorite moments, I have to say it was great to see, first one being Sarah impersonating Rachel. I always love it when it's clone impersonations, because technically it's still Tatiana playing her own character, but it's her playing one character trying to be playing another one of her characters. And then the double impersonation with MK trying to be Sarah, who's trying to be Rachel. It's truly phenomenal to see just how fantastic she pulls it off, because she has to do the one original character and then she has to do them trying to be another one of her characters, but instead of actually her being that character. So it's always these little nuances. So with Sarah pretending to be Rachel, even the offset of her blonde wig is the difference between her, Tatiana being Sarah being Rachel than Tatiana actually being Rachel. If that completely makes sense though. But every time there's a clone impersonation, it's always one of my favorites, because just seeing that and how well of they could or try to impersonate each other. With Sarah, she's been doing it for so long, and she's like a chameleon. She could really transform into that clone she's trying to impersonate. So it always blows my mind every time I see it. So I'm really amazed by it. So another favorite moment, let's move on, is Donnie trying to keep any suspicion off of Helena. She's jumpy when she's in the hospital, understandably so, but like every little thing would set her off, and kind of like, do I have to be like a warrior right now? Do I have to be a fighter? And Donnie's like, no, stay calm. That's not what you think. It's like he's trying to be the middleman and try to keep things calm, try to keep the bloodshed low. So it was very interesting to see him try to do that, especially when the whole Neo part where they were calling it a neonatal specialist, I believe, and Helena's like, she freaks out at the word Neo, and Donnie's like, no, not what you think. And so it was always funny just the two of them together is always hilarious to see just how he's able to interpret Helena's I don't know how to say her usual perspectives on things. It's kind of like something that Sarah has always seemed to do with Helena, but now to get it with Donnie it's great. And I'm going to stop right there, though. The last favorite moment of mine has to be just the scene in the apartment with Sarah and MK. It was the last time they're in a scene together, obviously. But what I liked about it is not only the fact that they're in a room together, but also the reassurances from Sarah to MK about them being family, about how they have to stick together to continue fighting, but then also the commonalities between them, and how Sarah brings up the fact that Sarah's tired, or MK's tired, so is Sarah. They've both been running their whole lives. It's what they do. They run on principle, type of thing, and just having all these parallels broadcast between the two of them, and then also to ensure the fact that yes, we are family, when in the previous season MK was always this outsider who knew all type of thing, and she was always elusive or evasive or always avoidable. I don't know which word to use, but she was always hard to track. So just to finally tell Sarah that no, you're part of this family, we're gonna stick together, we're gonna fight. I really love that, and it makes it even more heartbreaking that was their final scene together. And then it has me thinking back to MK's final scene with Beth, and how it was something similar to that type of vibe in a way, in the flashback. So it was definitely one of my favorites, just because as well it's a clone on clone scene as well, which I'm always fascinated with. But moving on, top 3 peeve moments. A big one is the fact that Ferdinand killed MK. I'm going to leave it at that. Another peeve moment of mine was the fact that Kira was defying her family. I mean, she's a little kid, and I get that's what little kids do, but since she knows how dangerous the situation is, wouldn't you just shut up and listen type thing, and just do what is best and safe instead of defying it and make things a lot more difficult when things are already a lot more difficult and complicated? I mean, in a way, I want Kira to regret having that defiance. I want her to regret kind of going with Neolution and Diana being studied. But then on the other hand, I want her to get an understanding about her genetic uniqueness and why she has this specific connection to the clones when her mom is a clone. Though I really don't... It peeves me that Kira thinks that that Rachel would be able to give her a better understanding that Sarah can in regards to what this connection can mean for them, when it's essentially this connection is an unknown entity to everyone involved. No one expected this to happen. No one has any answers. Yet it bugs me that Kira would rather get answers from Rachel than from Sarah, when she could also be getting answers for Cosima. I'd rather her get answers from Cosima than from Rachel. Essentially, you'd want them from Sarah, then to Cosima, and then to Rachel as the last option. But it just really bugged me that Kira is old enough that she knows the dire situation that they're all in. And the true threat and that is on them, and yet she wants to walk into the lion's den. I think that's what bugged me the most, was that her family's trying to do everything they can to keep her safe and to keep her away from these people who are going to use her as nothing more than a test subject, and yet she wants to go to those very people, even if it is to get an understanding of what's happening to her. I mean, it bugged me. It really does. So I have a mixed reaction of how I want this to play out for Kira. On the one hand, I want her to regret the defiance, but then on the other hand, I want her to actually learn something about... She has to gain something from this defiance for it to actually be worth it for me. So there's that. Moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode. MK's short return. I wish she stayed longer, but apparently that's not the case. So there's that. But she did bring a lot of information with her. So, and it was kind of funny that she broke into Felix's place there too. But random questions. First one being, are Cosima's positive test results really a good sign for her, or are things going to get worse for her recovery before they even have a chance of getting better? When P.T. Westmoreland told her that her results are looking positive, immediately I was happy for Cosima, but then I'm like, oh wait, what are the chances that it's not what she actually seen? So I'm a little worried about those results. And she's still coughing and stuff. Like, she told Charlotte that the treatment's not going to be instantaneous, But then, like, how long is it going to be until she actually sees physical signs for herself that she's getting better instead of what a test result is telling her? Another question. Was Delphine always meant to go on her science expedition elsewhere, or was it always her plan to detour to Mrs. S's place to meet up with her in secret? I mean, does Cassima know about this? Was that what they were trying to communicate with each other while being watched? And, like, they shared a knowing look in their last moments together. So I'm wondering if this meeting was that knowing look referring to. So there's that. Another question. If Kira didn't have that special connection with the clones, would she still want to go back to learn with Rachel? I mean, if she didn't have that connection, and the death of MK is really what's solidified it into Kira that something is definitely wrong with the situation and with herself, because she knows she's not supposed to be feeling any of this. So if she didn't have that connection, would she still be willing to go with Rachel and learn what makes her unique from being a child of a clone? So there's that. The last question. If Ferdinand had found Sarah instead of MK, would he have still attacked her? I don't know, because Ferdinand had some deep-seated issues with Rachel turning him down and kind of throwing him aside. And the fact that the clone was impersonating Rachel kind of triggered that. But then also, he has issues with Sarah, but then he also has issues with MK, as she was the Helsinki clone that got away from him, and she stole money from him. So I'm wondering if it was actually Sarah, would he have gone to the lengths he did to attack the clone, the Rachel clone, or Rachel impersonator type thing. So I'm wondering about that as well. But moving on to predictions very quickly, based off the promo for 503, it shows us that Allison wants to gain control back in her community center. Kira apparently learns from Rachel. Some pet rats are shown, or lab rats are shown. Appears that Donnie returns to Allison, where she tells him that their life is all a lie. And then we also see him in a kilt and burying it all during a performance, as well as being given a search warrant by Art and his new infuriating partner Maddie. So there's that. Now, based off the synopsis for 503, again, I'm getting this off my TV series app. So it reads that stuck on the sidelines with neo-Lucianists crawling all over her home, Allison seeks to return to her community center, but Bailey Downs has moved on from her. As she flounders to take back some semblance of control, the ghost of friendships past rears its handsome head. Art and his new partner show up at the Hendricks residence to continue their search for Helena, forcing Art to make a difficult moral judgment. So from all of that, it looks like 503 is going to be really focused on the Hendricks family from the looks of it. So there's that. But reference to Ghost of Friendships Past. Initially, I thought maybe Ainsley might be haunting Allison, but the synopsis says handsome head. So maybe it's an ex of some sort, or maybe it's someone else we haven't seen in a long time. So there's that. Speaking of, another question though, where is Cal? Last time we saw him was season 2, season 3, I believe. So where is he, and what has he been doing since then? I think the last time we saw Cal was when he met Paul for the first time, when Paul was in the military year. So I was wondering what question I was forgetting. That was it. Where's Cal? That's the question. And also, moving back to relevant questions, is where is Helena's new hiding place? Is it far? Is she really going to be off the grid? Or what? And how is Donnie going to be able to tell Sarah about it? Or when is he going to tell Sarah about where Helena is? So there is that. So also another question is, though, Helena mentioned that it's too soon for her babies to have a C-section. So I'm wondering if they're going to set it up pacing-wise that the series finale is when Helena is going to give birth or something like that. I don't know. I definitely think the birth of the twins definitely has to happen before the show ends. For sure about that. But otherwise, I also forgot to mention that we got new clone phones. Clone phone 5.0, Scott called them. And I think they had like a red or an orange cover to them this time. So there is that. But otherwise, I don't really have anything else to point out, though. But what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. It's also connected to my WordPress account. The link for that is down below. It's a work in progress, but it's a lot more organized. So everything I post online is connected to my WordPress. So go check it out if you like. And pretty much that's about it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.